guys, so I'm here today. I'm super excited to share with you why and how I turned down a $37,000 job offer. And I want to preface to I live in Nebraska, cost of living can be different other places, as well as this is a significant amount of money that I could have been making because I was making about $22,000 at Target, so it'd be like a $15,000 raise. So that's a significant difference. So I kind of want to put things in perspective because $37,000 might not seem like a lot, but that was a lot for me because that is a significant jump in pay. So let's get into kind of my explanation, all of the fine details, and all the fun stuff about that. So yeah, I really want to preface that because like I said, $37,000 sometimes doesn't seem like much to people, but I wanted to put it into perspective that it was a significant difference. So think about you at a job and you could have gotten a $15,000 pay raise. I feel like that's pretty good. At least for me, I don't know. And just getting out of college, I think it's pretty dang good. So let me explain why. Let me explain all the details because there's a lot. So yeah, I obviously turned down this job. A lot of people probably would think this is a stupid idea. Like, why are you doing this? You're literally just got out of college. You should be taking every opportunity you can, especially if you're making more money. So let's rewind it a little bit back. So I would say last summer, so summer of 2021, I was literally freaking out. I was stressed all the time and I'm like, oh my god, I literally graduated over a year ago. I don't have the typical life. I don't have a full-time job. I'm not working in a typical 9 to 5. What am I doing with life? And I was having a mini existential crisis. I applied to countless of jobs. Honestly, thinking it back at it, I probably applied for 30 plus jobs, and countless of jobs would get back to me and be either option 1, we are moving forward with other candidates. Thank you for applying. Number 2, I would get the interview, blah, 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 and then they'd want other candidates. And then number 3, they would offer me the job, but it would be either paying less than Target or about the same. And I was like, well, if it is a little bit above Target, I need something bigger to be able to take that step off and want to get a different job. Versus if it's only a couple cents, I'm I'd rather stay at Target because I actually do enjoy working there. So I was like, it has to be a significant amount higher for me to actually leave Target. So I literally would be stressed out all the time. I am the type of person, for some reason, that I'd have these spurts of extra stressful times for looking for jobs that I would just sit there, get on my computer and apply to 5 different jobs. And I'm like, why? It literally did not really help me because then I'd be oh, apply to this job, this job, get interviews for them, get that, we're moving on with other emails, move on with life, and then decline that offer, things like that. So I'm this is literally going around in the same circle that is really not boosting me to any direction and actually helping me. So this offer came along and is actually recommended from one of my other friends, and they're this is a really good job. I'll send the recruiter your information, all of that stuff. And they're higher up in the company and they're we've been with it for a while, we like it, everything like that. So I messaged the recruiter, kind of told her what I was interested in, and then she kind of sent me jobs that she thought would work well for what I wanted. Obviously, the process is very similar to any job. So I applied to a few of the positions that I liked, and she called back again, had the first interview, all of that fun stuff, which I pretty much more than likely made it to the first interview. The second interview would be questionable. But as I was on the phone with the recruiter for the first time, something kind of felt off already. But I'm it's fine. Maybe it's just me being nervous of starting somewhere new, everything like that. But I was okay, weird, because she seemed a little pushy, I guess pushier than I've had before, and she just kind of felt we really need people, so I'll help you, but it's more pushing you into positions so we have people more than seeing really if this is a perfect fit for you, if that makes sense. So I was okay, whatever. So I did, I think, my first interview with her, or I talked to someone else in that position and then went on to the second or third interview. But that next interview I had was a FaceTime video call with 3 other people, and those 3 people did work there. They worked in that same position that I was applying to, so that was at least nice to kind of hear from them how they liked it and what they did. But as I was sitting there, I swear to you, I was this does not seem fun. This seems so boring. And they were just so excited about the numbers and math and the processes and all of that stuff. And I was just oh my god. I would have these times in the interviews where I'm just sitting there oh my god, this is my life if I choose to get this job and accept it. And I'm no, nothing ever felt fully perfect for me. And I know you shouldn't be super focused on having everything perfect, but nothing like felt like I aligned to it so well that I was excited to do that. If it works for them, obviously that's perfect for them because we need people in any type of job. But for me, I was like, oh my gosh, this doesn't seem fun. But obviously I would be like, oh yeah, like this is so exciting, blah, blah, blah. And they did mention how they were interviewing other people. Was that a true or not? Who knows? I don't know if that's just something people say all the time. But I was like, oh, okay, like it's fine. They won't choose me. I didn't really love it. And I'm kind of getting farther than I was expecting. So they'll probably just choose someone else because most of the time they choose someone else. So I was like, it's all good. And I was just thinking, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm literally not going to go anywhere because I could either have money but work a draining 9-to-5 job that I just feel like I'd cry every day or just fall asleep every day and not feel fulfilled with my life. And that's just how it was with every single job I was interviewing for and even looking just online for in the applications. I'm like, what am I going to do? So then I got the call and the recruiter was like, oh my gosh, we're like offer you the job, all this fun stuff. And I was like, oh no. And I was like, okay, interesting. And then she mentioned how much I would be making, and it was $37,000 a year, which is a significant difference, like I said, from my target where I was making about $22,000. I was like, that's a significant amount. So that would be something that would intrigue me. And when you break it down, it's about like $18 an hour, which I'm like, that's very much higher than a lot of the other jobs I have been applying for. And I'm like, that's cool. And obviously you get like benefits, all of that fun stuff, like floating holidays, things like that. We don't get floating holidays at Target, but we do get like paid time off. But obviously I don't accrue as much because I don't work the 40 hours every week. So like there were going to be some good benefits, and I obviously would have gotten paid significantly higher. But I've always heard like bad things about salary is a lot of the times you're working more than 40 hours, so it's not really even beneficial to you. It's more beneficial to the company. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I heard, so that kind of scared me with that for number one. Number two, obviously, like I said, I was like, this looks so draining. Like, yes, I'll be making money. I'll be fine and dandy, all that stuff, but I was like, I will not be happy. And, like, it's a hard game to play. So I was like, oh, okay, like, on the phone, I was like, oh, like, that sounds great. I'll get back to you in a couple days. And then I said this because I literally saw TikToks about it saying that you should say that you have another job offer to see what they do or just to buy you more time. And I was like, okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to follow these TikTokers and say this. Oh, like, I have another job, like, offer coming, so I'm just waiting for that, so I'll get back to you. And then this is what she said, and then this is what's questionable, that I don't know if this is normal in recruiting conversations, all of that stuff, but she's like, oh, well, like, that's totally fine, but, like, how much are you leaning towards out of 10 to this job? And I was like, 8. Because I was like, don't want to sound super disappointing, and I was like, I'll say 8. 8's a good number, average number. And then she's like, okay, well then how much are you out of 10 wanting the other job? And I was like, 8. They're pretty equal, because I didn't want to be like, oh, like, definitely this job. Mind you, I did not have another job offer. So then I was like, okay, let's do 8. And then she kind of was like, well, why would you want this job instead of that other job? And then obviously vice versa. And I was like, because of blah, blah. I made something up. I'm very good at like interpreting and going with the flow, making stuff up sometimes if necessary. But I was like, oh, well, because of this. So then she got off the phone. I said I'd call her back, all this fun stuff. So this is also right before me and my boyfriend were going on our trip for 2 weeks to California. And I don't know why. I don't know how recent it was, but I think she was like trying to get a hold of me during my trip. And I think we were at Disney and she just kept calling. I say kept calling. I'm pretty sure she called once or twice. But I was like, oh my God, like, what do I do? Like, I, one, don't want to answer this phone because I don't know how long it will actually take to be on this phone with her if she's going to ask me, like, why I don't want this job, all this stuff if I say no. And two, I was on vacation, so I was on vacation mode, not needing to answer any emails, phone calls, all of that. But then I got a message from the person that recommended me to her, that was my friend, saying, like, oh, like, she said that you weren't replying, like, is everything good? Like, are you going to take the job? Blah, blah, blah. Which one? Can a recruiter do that? I'm not really for sure. But that was also questionable. So I was like, okay, we're just going to figure this out right now. So I like, during my trip, I feel like, and just during that time before my trip, also, like, I've always been thinking this. But during my trip, I feel like it really snapped with me. And I was like, I do not want to do this. I don't want to have a job where I'm going to be sitting down all the time. Do I want a job too where I'm going to be standing up 40 hours? No. But do I want a job that I'm going to have to work 40 hours, sit at a desk, and not be happy ultimately? And I was like, no. Like, thinking about having to go to that job, because I think the job would have started right when we came back, and I was like, I cannot do that. I'm literally not going to do that. And that stressed me out, and I was like, I literally can't, because it just would not make me happy. And if I have this body really response to this job, I feel like it's my sign to not take it. So then I emailed her. I was like, oh, I'm not going to take this job. Like, I found something else, or I said that I just don't want it. And I don't think I ever heard back, which is fine. I don't really care. But at least she got that hint. Hopefully they hired someone for that job. But I'm just like, I know, like, I know myself, and I know I could do what everyone else wants me to do, have a perfect life, pay the bills with my 9 to 5, you know, go on trips every once in a while, all that fun stuff. But I was like, no, I want more than that. And I was thinking, I was at this crossroads for the longest time, and during that time, during my trip, I think, or recently, once we got back, I was like, we're going to take this path. Because I was like, option 1, am I going to work at Target and work on growing my social media? Or 2, am I going to work a 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, and work on my social media? I'm like, what is the one thing that's always in that equation? What's always that common denominator? And it was always growing my social media. I don't know why, even in high school, that's when I started my YouTube. I've always just wanted to, like, be online, because I feel like for me, this is perfect for my lifestyle, for who I am, and it helps me achieve the goals that I want to achieve, being a stay-at-home mom at some point, achieve the income goals I want, achieve the freedom that I have always wanted and love. And that's why I love working at Target currently, because it does also give me that freedom to not have to work 40 hours a week. Also, not have to work set days of the week. That's the Monday through Friday. It's nice because I have Wednesdays and Saturdays off, and they're kind of untraditional, but also I still get that weekend day off. So it's perfect. Like, I just am so happy of where I am, and I'm learning to be comfortable of being happy. That may not look as normal as other people's lives, if that makes any sense. So obviously you guys know what path I chose. I literally chose, obviously, Target and working on my social media. And I literally have hit over my income goals that I ever thought have. My goal, honestly, was to make the same, if not a little bit more, than what I would be making at that job that I declined. And at that job, like I mentioned, I declined, was $37,000 a year. I'm currently on my social media and working at Target making like $47,000, which is bizarre because it's literally the beginning of April. So it's like, that's still like a good 9 months of me creating income online that I could be adding to that. Obviously, I haven't taken off taxes for the income from my social media, but like I said, there's room to write off stuff. There's room to make more money that I can kind of take off for the income. But nonetheless, it's so bizarre to see that I'm actually creating like an income for myself on social media and creating more income than I could have ever thought. And that's really one of the main reasons I wanted to start social media. I loved how there was no like income gap that I could have versus being at a job. Obviously you can get raises, all of that stuff, but with just social media, I feel like it's unlimited amount of opportunities, as well as like opportunities to go do stuff, to work with cool brands that you love, to be able to have that freedom to do more things in your life than working 40 hours a week, if that makes any sense. And just overall, like, it just works perfectly for my lifestyle and who I am. And I really like, I feel like in high school too, I really didn't know any of my talents. I'm like, oh, well, like, some people are really good at sports, some people are just so smart, and I just never fit into those categories. And I think I'm finally just using my talents for what they are, and it's truly like paying off in a monetary value as well as mentally, because like I truly am happy of what I'm doing. And if I think about sitting on my computer for 8 hours in a day, that makes me want to cry and want to just take a nap and just give up. And so I'm just so happy that I finally chose me. I finally chose like, do the different thing. Like, it's fine. Like, what's there you can, and I was like, what's there to lose, honestly? Like, I worked at Target longer, work on my social media. If it doesn't grow, I finally get that job that probably pays about the same, may not be the same job, but I'll find a job. But I was just like, it's fine, we'll take it. So this is your sign to take the risks and to really follow your dreams, because you really don't know how close you are to your goals until you start working on it and like digging down deep into who you are, figure out who you are, so you can fully be there for what you're working on and actually achieving your dreams. Because listen to this, in October, this is when I made a goal for myself to post 3 times a day on TikTok, and currently now I've been still doing that in 6 months. After that October, I was like, I'll be done. At least I hit my goal of posting 3 times a day. If that was too much, I would go down. But still staying consistent with that. Sometimes I even post 4 to 5 times a day. But it definitely has paid off. I've grown a lot of my social medias, and in October I was at like 4,000 subscribers. I'm currently now like 18 to almost 19,000, not subscribers, followers. I was thinking of YouTube. But having almost tripled the amount of followers I had, I literally get followers and subscribers so mixed up. But thinking about tripling the size of the followers that I had just in 6 months, that's bizarre. Like, think about what I can do by the end of the year. And it's just really focusing on who you are, because obviously this is my path. Your path could look differently. And like I said, I don't want this video to say anyone working a 9 to 5 is just not living their life. They are. Like, obviously everyone's path is different. But if you feel like truly in yourself that you are not supposed to follow that path, that's okay. And that's what I'm rooting for. So I hope the point of this video came across. Basically, just do what you're meant to do and success will find you. And I think that's so amazing. And I think back, like, if I took that job, I just feel like I don't even know how long I would have stayed at that job, and it just would have set me back from growing on social media of what I truly wanted to do. So I hope you guys liked watching this. Hopefully you gained something from this video, and definitely comment down below if you're kind of feeling in a rut, or if you think you're going off like a different path that's different from the norm. I'd love to connect and talk to you more. I hope you guys liked watching this, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!